English translation, 281st contact, Friday 25th March 2000, 0707 hours.
Hello, everyone. Once again, a little early, but I am glad to see you.
Greetings. Yes, we are a bit early because at this time you usually sleep. This is Indiana, one of my closer friends. And before you ask what her name means, I want to explain to you that the value of the meaning is the revealer.
I was about to ask for it. But excuse me, Indiana, be very welcome. You do understand the German language, if I assume correctly?
Certainly, because those of us who get in touch with you, we all necessarily learn the language with which we can talk to you. But thank you very much for your welcome.
This is a matter of course, because it is always a great pleasure for me to welcome someone from your ranks, and to be concerned that everyone feels comfortable with me. Of course I know that everyone who comes to me learns the German language, because that has been explained to me before. That is why I also assumed that you master the language.
Indiana comes here to represent Zafanat Paneash because he is currently indispensable, but also because she wants to get to know you.
Of course, I had asked Zafanat Paniach to give me some information about the tiny telemeter or control disk that performs all the functions you think are important in a geostationary orbit several hundred kilometers above the center. Njana, excuse me, are you knowledgeable about these things?
That I am, yes, because I am also acting as Zafanat Panich's representative.
That is wonderful. Can I start with my questions right away?
Just ask.
Good then. What is the total size of the control disk according to earthly masses?
The whole structure has a size of 25 cubic millimeters.
Aha, and what are the main functions of this tiny creature?
The whole structure in the measure of 25 cubic millimeters is calculated with the casing or the casing, which I must mention before. It contains a hypersender and a hyperreceiver, as well as 4 different control devices, 7 different registration devices, a solar energy generator, a geostationary regulator, 3 memories for consciousness-based swinging waves, 3 impulse transmitters, as well as a device with an alarm function.
Gigantic. And all this on an ultra-subatomic basis. If I have understood Ta and Zafanat Paniach correctly, or even on levels that we call the quark level, etc.
This corresponds to the circumstances.
If I understood Ta and Zafanat Paniach correctly, then the storage capacity of the tiny control disk is 90 million gigabytes, which corresponds to 86 trillion bytes and 773 trillion bits, respectively, as we have calculated.
Yes, roughly speaking, these are the correct figures. For the exact calculation, some billions of bytes would have to be added.
How and on which material is this gigantic amount of bytes stored?
The whole structure consists of a special plastic in all parts. The actual storage block of the 90 million gigabytes is also made of a very special plastic, whereby this element measuring 0.6 cubic millimeters. The storage itself takes place through a high-quality irradiation of a very specific light form.
So then there is no magnetic storage left in the game, as is still the case with us on Earth in this respect?
No, magnetism is no longer necessary.
So what about the energies? How are they transported from one place or device to another?
There exist no material connections anymore, but all of the energies are only transmitted in a swinging wave-based manner.
Askit already explained this to me in the 50s. But it was a coarser technology than is the case with the control disk. Well, I have all the answers to my questions. Thank you very much for the information and explanations.
It is a pleasure for me to be able to help you.
Thank you.
So, can we have a little private talk now?
Of course.
Then may I also ask you private things relating to yourself, as well as to your family as a whole, by which I also mean in relation to that your family exists within our own guidelines.
There is no obstacle that could prevent us from discussing these things. So I am all ears. So ask your questions that interest you.